Musicians have a love affair for tape. This weird black stuff. Classic albums, VHSs of Star Wars Special Edition, countless things have been committed to tape. And that's why the RE-201 Tape Echo is one of the most sought after, iconic pieces of gear ever made. Let's talk about RE-2 and RE-202, the newest Space Echoes from Boss. Sha-sha! Hey, I'm Danny from Boss. Let's talk about Space Echoes today. What is so special about a tape echo? Well, tape echoes were invented in the 50s to add ambience to music easily. Back in the day, you could take your guitar amp to a big open space in an auditorium or something and get natural reverb. But in the studio, it's very hard to replicate that ambience. So tape echoes are really cool because they're a pretty clean sounding delay sound. In a tip-top condition, an RE-201 can sound really crystal clear, but as tapes get imperfections, the capstan rollers inside the tape machine start to wear out unevenly, they start to have like a natural warble to them. Now the RE-201 in particular, which I have right in front of me, was very special because it gave you the option of running 3 playback heads. What does that mean, you ask? Basically, there's a recording head against the tape that's constantly recording your guitar signal or any type of instrument for that matter. Some delays will have the playback head slide and move around, and that's what changes your delay time. In the case of the RE-201, the speed of the motor is what changes the delay time. So the tape loop is spinning, 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 hits the record head, hits the playback head, hits the erase head, and that's how it keeps an infinite loop of your delay signal. Now what's cool about the RE-201 is that you have 3 playback heads that are spaced apart. So you can get really cool reverby type sounds, really spacey sounds, hence the name. You have a mode selector which selects different amounts of each playback head, whether it's 1 of them, 2 of them, 3 of them, and all the different combinations. Very cool. Then the 201 also has a spring reverb built in and also has a bass and treble control so you can control how much low end or high end is in your delayed signal. It's super handy. It's one of those things that has been a mainstay of recording studios for years and years and years for good reason. So in 2007, Boss released the RE-20, which is a very, very popular unit. It's an RE-201 in a 20 series enclosure with 2 buttons. Super cool pedal. A lot of people to this day still really love them, but we wanted to update that design with 2 brand new pedals with 2 brand new algorithms that model the 201 sound perfectly. The RE-2 summarizes the RE-201 sound in a single Boss compact enclosure. You still have reverb, you still have the mode selector switch with 11 different modes, all from the RE-201. So for the RE-2, we've added a wow and flutter control, which simulates the tape aging naturally, so it introduces a natural warble into the sound. So let's check out the RE-2. So the RE-2 has all 11 modes of the original RE-201. I'll show you all the different playback head configurations on the screen right now. There it is. So all of the original modes of the 201, reverb included, and it's just a great fun delay to play because in mode 1 you have, tape head 1. So you got a pretty standard sounding delay, and then when you go to the other modes, you start to add the different tape head combinations. Super cool, super great way to get a great ambient sound or a standard delay sound. So if I turn down the effect level, I can turn up the reverb. The reverb is a great sounding spring reverb that models accurately the sound of the spring reverb on the RE-201. So you mix them together, that's when you get the really washy stuff. Now, if you feel the repeats are too bright or too dark, you have a tone control still that allows you to change that up a little bit. Really handy if you want the sound of your reverbs to sit in the mix a little bit better. Super cool. Now, awesome feature of the RE-2 and the RE-202 is that we have accurately modeled the speed in which the motor changes delay time. Remember, an RE-201 has a loop of tape going around, and the faster the motor, the faster the delay time. What we've done is we've accurately modeled how the tape gets brighter if you have a faster speed. Also, we've modeled how fast it goes between the different speeds. Check out this. So cool to hear it go, wow! It's just amazing. It's so cool. Another very popular feature is going to be the wow and flutter control, which adds the natural tape aging that you hear over time. So it just adds a little bit of a detuned sound to the repeats. Dreamy, just dreamy. There's also tap tempo on the RE-2. If you hold down the button, it will go into green mode, and if you tap in the delay, you tap in your tempo. The repeat rate knob by default on the RE-2 is set to the original repeat rate amounts of the original RE-201, but you can change that in the startup modes to be a more longer delay time range. There's a carryover switch on the top, as well as a control/EXP jack on the side, which gives you a 1 or 2 button foot switch additional to the pedal, or an expression pedal input. Nice. In the startup settings of RE-2, you can also choose whether or not it imparts the preamp tone that the 201 is known for as well. While it's very popular for a delay effect, a lot of people would use the RE-201's preamp as a way to color the sound of the dry signal of your guitar or instrument as well. Super cool. So the RE-202 is the big daddy of the RE-2. They both have very similar sounds. They have the same sound engine, but the RE-202 expands on the amount of parameters they have control. It gives you MIDI because it's the larger CE1 style enclosure that is new for this pedal. It has 3 buttons, which allows you to turn the reverb on and off, switch through memories, tap tempo, and twist and warp, which are 2 different ways to do some crazy, wild stuff with the RE-202. So first and foremost, you have 4 memory options, which gives you 127 if you plug in via MIDI. It's very important to know that the RE-202 and the RE-2 are not just for guitar. The RE-201 is probably, at this point, more popular in the studio on vocals, drums, whatever you can think of. It's more of a studio tool. So we include a guitar/line input selector, which allows you to optimize it for the use in a mixer or a keyboard, something like that. We give you a tape quality button, which gives you a new tape or an aged tape. So that simulates the high-end roll-off that you see when you have a tape age out and start to get worn out. So a really cool feature of the RE-202 is we've added a saturation control. Think of this as a really low headroom input level. So it's the input level just going to the tape. So the higher it is, the more distorted the input signal of the tape happens. Check it out. So it's a good way to get more volume out of the tape sound, but also a good way to simulate a really crunchy, gritty tape sound as well. Super cool. Then the wow and flutter control, just like on the RE-2. The mode selector works a little bit different on the RE-202. The reverb is on all of the different modes. There's 12 modes, but we've added a 4th tape head. So you have a combination of all 4, 1, 3, and 4, 1, 2, and 3, a whole bunch of different varieties of tape configurations. I'm a big fan of head 3 and 4 because it kind of gives you that like David Gilmour-y, Run Like Hell type sound. So, like on a 201, we give you separate bass and treble controls, and of course the reverb control. The reverb, we've added 4 additional types of reverb as well. So you have the classic spring like on a 201, but we give you hall, plate, room, and an ambient reverb with the system settings in the RE-202. Having the reverb is really cool because it saves a spot on your pedal board for a reverb. If you have the echo level off, you can have just reverb anytime you want. You can turn the reverb off by holding the button down. You also have a dedicated tap tempo button. Now what's really handy about the RE-202 is it also has MIDI in and out. You have stereo in and outs to be used with keyboards, studio mixers, whatever you can think of. You have a control/EXP input as well, which again, you can assign a foot switch, 1 or 2 button, or an expression jack to. Tons of features in the RE-202, but it's simple. It's not trying to be any other type of delay other than the best possible Space Echo you could buy. If you want something that's more versatile, that covers different delay types, I highly recommend you check out the DD500 and the DD200. Both great delays. And don't forget about the DD8, which is very versatile, but also very simple. Cool stuff. So that's the RE-2 and the RE-202, the newest and latest and greatest Space Echoes in the Space Echo legacy. The RE-201 and the Space Echoes from Roland start all the way back to the 70s, and even farther back when you look at the original designs from Acetone, which were tape echoes as well, predating Roland. And these are two wonderful additions to the lineup that are just so much fun to play. So you got the little one, you got the big one, you got choices to make, but don't worry. They both have the same great sound, just one is tight and compact that'll fit on your pedal board really nicely, but do crazy wild things that no other pedal can do. Or you got the big daddy, you got a tap tempo, you got warp and twist switches, you got more tape heads to deal with, more knobs, but gosh, both of them are so much fun to play. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day. Bye for now.